Hi, it's Mark Podolsky, the Land Geek again. And let's talk about some other fatal mistakes I see the average real estate investor making every day. So, how about not going and seeing the property? It's a big one. There's nothing wrong with buying property online, sight unseen. I've done it. I'll go on Google Earth and I'll look at it virtually. But I don't close the deal until someone physically goes and checks on that property for me. There's a great site out there called WeGoLook.com. WeGoLook.com, $49. They'll send someone out to go look at your property. You can always take advantage of a local realtor. Give them a call, give her a call and say, hey, I'm buying this property. Have you seen it? So always, if you're going to buy property sight unseen, make sure someone sees it. Doesn't necessarily have to be you. If you're in California, you're buying property in Nevada, that's fine. But make sure someone goes and checks on your property. If no one can go look at it, make sure there's a guarantee. I always offer a 90-day additional due diligence on my property so people can go plan a trip, make sure that they really love the property they're buying. Nobody wants to be disappointed with a land purchase. And as a seller, you never want that anyways. The other fatal mistakes I see are dealing with titles. That is, how is the seller conveying title to you, the buyer? Are they using a warranty deed, a special warranty deed, or a quitclaim deed? These are very different things, these three things. Let's talk about the worst of the deeds, a quitclaim deed. Seller is actually providing or warranting you nada, zilch, nothing. There's liens on the property, encumbrances, problems with the title, your problem, not theirs. Don't ever take a quitclaim deed, ever. A special warranty deed's a little better. A special warranty deed warrants that during the seller's ownership of that property, they're warranting you, the buyer, that they haven't put any cloud on the title, no liens or encumbrances. It's good, it's not great. The best deed you can get is a warranty deed. A warranty deed states that your title is free and clear from the entire chain of title, from the very first buyer up to you, that there have been no liens or encumbrances on the title of that property. And to be really safe, get title insurance. Another common mistake I see buyers making when dealing with properties online, like an eBay or a bid for assets, is they'll send that seller certified funds as payment. Well, 9 out of 10 times you're going to be dealing with an honest seller, and that's fine. But what happens if it's a phishing scam? Or if that seller just happens to lose his mind and decide, hey, I'm just going to start ripping people off. Put that purchase on a credit card. A credit card company is going to be able to protect you from any type of online fraud. So even if you get an unscrupulous seller and they don't convey ownership to you, even after receiving your payment, you've got recourse with your credit card company. Always be careful. The safest way to close any transaction is going to be going through a title company and an escrow company. But it costs a lot of money, and sometimes, I've seen people sell property for $500, $1,000, and title can cost $500 itself. So if you're getting a really great price online, then just make sure that you're protecting yourself. You're using that credit card company as your de facto escrow company. So all this time I've been talking about fatal mistakes I see the average real estate investor making online. A good question to ask your seller, and it's a mistake not to ask the seller this question, is What's the water like? Is it potable? That is, can I drill a well and can I drink that water? A lot of times you're going to find that some of these rural areas, it's going to take tens of thousands of dollars to drill down far enough to tap water. We can't go very long without water. So unless you have another option available to you, such as trucking in your water, or you have some different type of plan with that property where your water needs are going to be scarce, don't buy that property. It's the basic building block of life, and we need it. Property that we can't access water on, we're not going to be able to put a home on it, we're not going to be able to raise animals on it, we're not going to be able to do very much on it. It's camping property, basically. So ask your seller, how deep is the water table in this area, and can I drink that water? Another great question to ask, are there property owner association or homeowner association dues associated with this property? I once dealt with a subdivision in Pennsylvania, and I'm telling you, this subdivision nickel and dime their owners any way they could. First there was a transfer fee. Then there were monthly association dues. Then there were special assessments. Then there was a water due. Even if you weren't even accessing water, you still had to pay a water fee every month. I mean, it was just a mess. These can be avoided just by asking the simple question, are there dues associated with this property? Most of the time, I look for property that is really straightforward and simple. There's not going to be a lot of restrictions, and there aren't going to be dues. But sometimes there's these really nice communities where, you know, there's a golf course and a lake and a gated community, and they maintain their own roads and they maintain their own community, and there's going to be dues associated with it. That's fine. Just make sure you know what you're signing up for. Typically, I tell people you can find a great community without the dues, but if you have to get a community with the dues, make sure you know every single fee associated with it and what that property owners association is doing with your money before you make that choice. It's a mistake not to. Finally, the last question you want to ask is there ingress and is there egress to that property? Ingress and egress is just fancy words for, is there legal access to my property? A lot of times in rural areas, it's going to be landlocked, which means you have to apply for an easement or permission to access your property through someone else's property. And that can be a real headache sometimes. Sometimes it's not, but oftentimes it is. Especially when you're dealing with the government, it can take up to a year to get an easement. So always make sure that that property is not landlocked and that you can get ingress and egress. You can get from A to B unfettered, and there's legal access to your property. Side note, congratulations for looking into raw land as an investment. Oftentimes, people say, hey, the stock market's great or buying homes is great. I disagree. I think the best asset is raw land. You've got no tenant headaches, no termites, no physical problems and physical maintenance you have to deal with. You don't have to deal with some guy on CNBC saying, hey, the CEO has been embroiled in a scandal. So unlike the stock market, you have total and complete control when you buy raw land. Raw land can be tricky though, as we've seen, but if you're guided right, you can make an absolute fortune buying and selling raw land. Thank you very much.